Hello, welcome and good evening to everyone. May I present to you our two moderators for tonight's conference. Our first moderator is Dr. Richard Santos. He is the president of the Philippine College of Emergency Medicine and co-director, Trauma System Cluster, Philippine College of Surgeons, Trauma Injury and Burn Care Commission. Our second moderator is Dr. Norman Lin Sihan. He is an associate consultant in colorectal and trauma surgery from the National University Hospital in Singapore. Hello, Doc.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Richard. I'm an emergency medicine specialist. And joining with me tonight is Norman as one of the moderators for today's online event. And I am honored to be the one to introduce the chair of the ACT, who will provide the welcome remarks before we start the program. It is my honor to introduce to you Dr. Rolando Gerardo de la Cruz. Dr. de la Cruz was born in Cabanatuan City, Philippines in 1959. He spent his grade school in his hometown in Talavera, Nueva Ecija, and his high school at the Maria Assumpta Seminary in Cabanatuan City. In 1979, he graduated with his bachelor's degree, and in 1984 obtained his medical degree from the University of Santo Tomas, Manila. He also graduated with his Master's of Hospital Administration from the University of the Philippines in the year 2000. He had his residency training in orthopedic surgery and traumatology at the Armed Forces of the Philippines Medical Center, where he became the chief president of the Department of Surgery from 1993 to 1994. He was also an on-the-job training and the Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation Service of the AFP Medical Center from 1989 to 1990. He was sent to the United States as a resident scholar of the American College of Surgeons, Philippine chapter in 1993, and to the Department of Orthopedics at the University of the Philippines as a clinical observer in spine surgery in 1994. He served as a regular officer in the Medical Corps, Armed Forces of the Philippines between 1987 to 2000, where he played an important role in the care of soldiers and civilians with musculoskeletal injuries. And he was assigned with the Southern Command AFP in Zamboanga City as an orthopedic ward officer with the Philippine Military Academy Station Hospital in Baguio City as an executive officer, and with the Office of the Surgeon General in Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City as Chief of the Rehabilitation Management and Research Branch. Dr. Gerardo de la Cruz has many local and international affiliations, and I will not try to even list them down because it's very lengthy. But it is important to note that in November 2020, Dr. De La Cruz was elected as the chairman of the Asian Collaboration for Trauma, or ACT, a federation of national organizations and institutions involved in the care and management of the injured. Under his leadership, the ACT expanded its membership and reached a global audience in its monthly webinars. These webinars, aptly named ACTIVE, or Asian Collaboration for Trauma Interactive Virtual Encounters, is a way of delivering the educational goals of ACT through a novel and virtual platform as a response to the travel restrictions and the lack of face-to-face interactions brought about by the pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on the virtual floor the chairman of ACT, Dr. Rolando Gerardo de la Cruz.
Thank you, Rich. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rich, for that lengthy and very kind introduction. Dear colleagues and friends of the Asian Collaboration for Trauma, greetings and welcome to the 20th ACT Interactive Virtual Encounters. This webinar will be the last for the series of webinars which started on January 20, 2021. We are very grateful to all the speakers, reactors, and moderators who have shared their precious time to participate despite their very busy schedules. And we also would like to thank all the more than 8,000 people who have participated. We have now 22 countries represented in the Asian Collaboration for Trauma and 17 national organizations as part of the federation. These countries get together and being passionate about doing something on the global stage, it has a team spirit of collaboration and passion for making the field more welcoming to everyone. The title for the webinar today is Lessons Learned from a Lifetime of Surgery. Our conference faculty will be sharing with us the lessons that they have learned throughout their lifelong practice of the science and art of surgery. We are indeed very grateful for our speakers who have graciously accepted our invitation to participate in this webinar. Professor Ken Beauford, Professor Elman Stein, Professor Mansur Khan, Professor Carlos Mesquita has been with us during the previous webinars and have been very supportive of the Federation. Of course, we have to thank Professor Ramon B. Gustillo, the founding president of the Orthopedic Trauma Association, who has etched his name on the most commonly used classification of open fractures. Words cannot express the help that they are sharing us tonight. We are also delighted and thankful to have an illustrious panel of reactors composed of Dr. Azdin Modkairi from Malaysia, Dr. Amira Al-Hassan from Kuwait, Dr. Irene Low from Hong Kong, Dr. Li Chen from Taiwan, Dr. C.K. Chong from Singapore, and Dr. John Pierre Long from the Philippines. They will all be properly introduced later. Moderating today's webinar will be Dr. Rich Santos from the Philippines and Dr. Norman Lin from Singapore. Thank you, Dr. Rich and Dr. Norman. The active webinar has more than 8,000 participations to date, with an average of 300 audiences per webinar. Together, through hard work and perseverance, we were able to deliver to our fellows and friends the highest quality of trauma education that is a very important tool in the care of our injured patients. Since the start of the global pandemic, we have conducted 19 webinars with topics on vascular trauma, trauma training, trauma systems, controversies in trauma, damage control, resuscitation, improvisations and innovations, critical care, trauma legacies, leadership in trauma, great insights on trauma, war surgery, and humanitarian response. We held the joint congress with the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka last November 25, 2021, when we also had our 7th ACT meeting. We also conducted a joint webinar with the Ambrose Paré International Military Surgical Forum on April 2022 with the theme Integrating Military Experiences in Civilian Trauma Settings. In November, we will be having a hybrid Asian Trauma Congress to be held in New Delhi, India. We hope that you could participate in this event. Let me express my deepest gratitude, which goes to the lead organizers and industry sponsors without whose help this webinar would not be held. These people are all credited for setting up these webinars, and I am so grateful for their help. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Chuming Turk, the Scientific Program Director, Dr. Amit Gupta, the Chair of the Education Committee, Dr. Raj Menon, the Scientific Program Co-Director and Vice Chair of the Education Committee, Dr. Amila Ratnayake, Chair of the Research Committee and Scientific Program Coordinator, and Ms. Riz Lynn Hekban, our Executive Secretary. We have now 285 fellows in the Academy of the Asian Collaboration for Trauma, and we hope to grow bigger and stronger during the coming years. To all the fellows, your organization is committed to providing you with the highest level of education, training, and research.